So if you want to look at like game rivalries, let's look back at like the first asshole that we just hated. All of us collectively hated this guy. I'm looking at Ash versus Gary Oak. Man, that guy was such a douchebag. He always, from like the start, like Professor Oak just gave him a free, awesome Pokemon, and he's like, oh, I don't give a crap about this. Like, oh, I'm gonna beat you, Ash, no problem. Like, you wanted to break his legs like early on, but the game was rated E, so you couldn't actually kick his ass. You could fight Pokemon versus Pokemon, but you couldn't beat him up. Whatever. Still, we hated him, and the rivalry still gets to me, because no matter how much of a douchebag he still made it to the Elite Four. He was still that good. So, you know what, buddy? F you.
Let's see, video game rivalries. How about Aliens versus Predator? And I can already hear some of you, that's a movie rivalry. Alien versus Predator was a movie. Yeah, well, the video game Alien versus Predator came out before the movie, and the video games were actually good. There was the arcadey one, where you could like fight off all those like face huggers as predators or humans, and then there was like a tactical one, like a real-time strategy. I really didn't play that one that much. And then there was also like the FPS where you could actually be the individual aliens and run around, and like the aliens were faster and they all had the predators and marines all had different strengths and weaknesses, and it was all very cool. And I think the movies wouldn't have sucked so bad if they had taken the plot of that good Alien vs. Predator game and made that the movie. Maybe it wouldn't have been terrible and had so many plot holes. So yeah, Alien vs. Predator, video game rivalry, very good. Sucked as a movie rivalry.
So we're doing video game rivalries this week, best video game rivalries, and the one that came to the top of my head was Sonic versus Dr. Robotnik. But then I thought about it and I was like, what did Dr. Robotnik really do? All he did was like imprison some squirrels or something. So really, if he had won, the only thing that would have changed is there would be way less squirrels. So I was thinking Sonic versus Knuckles. Yes, Knuckles came along and Sonic was all jealous because it was like Knuckles is obviously way cooler, and he didn't really like him at first. There was an interesting rivalry there. Knuckles obviously was the cooler one and would kick Sonic's ass. Never really acknowledged or played out in the games or anything, but I think we all know that is how that would work.
Now, Mario seems so lovable, but this guy has a lot of rivalries. We're looking at Wario, Bowser, and of course, Mario versus Sonic. Like, this is like a Super Nintendo versus Genesis, Sonic versus Mario. Which game's better? What team are you on? Personally, I was always more of a Sonic fan over Mario games. But that Sega versus Nintendo rivalry, it was so thick, like for so many years. And then everything was okay, and Mario just competed against Sonic at the Olympics, and the rivalry just kind of disappeared a little bit. But if you think about it, look at all of Mario's rivalries. They don't really end bad in any way. Like, Bowser keeps kidnapping Princess Peach. Hey, that's not a problem. Bowser, come go, let's go go-karting together. Let's play a board game together. Like, let's play golf and tennis. No, like, you aren't friends. Stop being friends. Mario versus Wario, same thing. He's always there. They are not bad guys. Mario just loves everybody. Dumbass.
Gotta go with the classic SubZero versus Scorpion, aka me versus my brother Dan. Yeah, I was SubZero, he was Scorpion. A teleporting little bastard. He was so quick. His stupid scorpion spear would always hit me just as I was about to freeze, and it would like cancel out my freeze, or my freeze would hit him, but I'd be like reeling from the stupid scorpion spear, and so by the time I got to him, he'd unfreeze and uppercut me. Ugh! That was a heated rivalry. That one was personal between me and him. And you know what? I think those two started out fighting because there was an in-game argument, and SubZero's like, "You're just a palette swap of me," and Scorpion's like, "No, you're a palette swap of me." No. That's where that rivalry came from. Or you could go with the whole Scorpion got killed by SubZero thing. Either way.
Then the next one, another obvious one, you got Dr. Wily versus Megaman, the epic rivalry there. I remember my favorite music, I've said this before in another Why We're Single, the best video game music ever was the Wily levels in Mega Man. I think that's why I like the rivalry so much, is because it was just set to such a great soundtrack. I'm sure they'll show the clip here where I'm doing the music in the background. I'm not going to do it again because I felt like a huge nerd and wanted to go cry in a corner.
How about Liquid Snake versus Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid? That was a pretty intense rivalry. They're kind of like genetic opposites of each other, so one got all the recessive genes, one got all the dominant genes, so they're destined to like fight head to head. Pretty cool pretty cool setup. And then like, it's such an intense rivalry that even after Liquid dies, he has to come back as like this hand-possessed ocelot, and he's like, "Ah, you thought you killed me, but I possessed this guy through my hands." So it didn't really make sense, but it was an intense rivalry.
And then my last rivalry, probably the most intense rivalry of all, I'm gonna talk about Gordon Freeman versus Headcrabs. Yes, Gordon Freeman armed with only his crowbar against Headcrabs, which were some of the most frightening things for me as a child. They kind of reminded me a lot of Alien, like the chest bursters, or I mean the face huggers rather. It was just like, I remember the first cutscene, and this is one thing that Half-Life really did well. They didn't really interrupt the flow of gameplay too much. Sort of these in-game cutscenes where stuff would just happen in the environment. Right after you come back from inside the portal, you're walking through this lab and you look over, and there's a scientist, and he's like trying to fight off his head crab and just latches on, and then he's like, and the little thing's just sticking on his head, just like sucking on it, like, and you're just like, oh, what just happened? That was ridiculous, that was so scary. And then the rest of the game, you'd be like fighting things and shooting things, and they just jump out of nowhere. Yeah, that was definitely an intense rivalry.
Now, this video game rivalry has been going for years and years and years, and to this day, still very intense. I'm talking about zombies versus me. Anytime there's a zombie in a video game, I step up to the plate. I see you, I gotta kill you. This is like the video game rivalry that makes me me. Left 4 Dead, you all dead, not me, I'm alive. Zombies ate my neighbors, fueled my zombie like rage. I got a squirt gun, you got nothing, nothing. Plants vs Zombies, I got all the plants, you're slow and dumb. Zombies, you come up to me, you die, right in the head. You know, I just kind of used myself in a comparison for video game rivalries. That's why I'm single.